This is the Four-Man Rush. Hello, Panther fans, and welcome to another podcast of the Four-Man Rush. I'm your host, Timmy V.O., here with Kevin, Larry, and Will, and we're going to talk about yet another W dropped by the Carolina Panthers. So, Kyle Allen's, this is his third start. He's having a little flaws, things of that nature. That's understandable. The offensive line is not where we need it to be consistent, but they're good enough to beat a team like Houston. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the unfortunate IR designation for KK Short, if you guys haven't heard that already. And we'll talk about the upcoming game with Jacksonville. And we'll talk about what needs to improve overall for the Carolina Panthers in order for us to get another W, our first one at home, hopefully, for the 2019 season. So, Panther fans, I know you guys are happy about what's been going on 2 weeks in a row. We get a W twice on the road, matter of fact. If you guys remember last year, winning on the road was somewhat of a headache for us. Well, winning at home too after that injury, but that's neither here nor there. Actually, it's still here. But anyway, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about KK and the impact that has on our defense. Even though we're deep, that does have somewhat of an impact. Of course, going on IR with KK. So. We'll start off talking about KK and how we see the defensive rotation collaborating around that absence. So we'll start off with Kevin, because Kevin's still driving. He's dedicated like that, folks. You just don't know. And then we'll talk to Will and Larry about this KK situation. Then we get into the game from Sunday. So Kevin. KK, this IR, so give us the insight on that, please.
Yeah, well, the Twitter world for Panther fans went abuzz when it was dropped that Kawan Short was going on IR last couple of weeks. All we knew that it was a shoulder injury of some type. Wasn't really much said about that. Turned out to be a partially torn rotator cuff. So he's on IR, done for the year. So it's not the short-term one where he can come back in 8 weeks. He's going to have surgery, do the rehab, and we'll catch him back at Walford next time in action with pads. So, since 2013, pretty much Pro Bowl caliber talent, sometimes overlooked. And for the most part, just someone that's you can arguably make one of the top 5, top 7 defensive tackles year in and year out. Stats don't always support how disruptive that he is, but he's definitely someone that is going to be truly missed. But I feel like that we are deep on several in the defensive line rotation where it's going to take everybody else putting a few more slices of pie on their plate to make up for the hunger that he has. But I definitely think that it's something that it's going to hurt for right now. We're going to make adjustments. We're going to strap up, and we're going to do what we do best. We're going to keep pounding. I look at this as also an opportunity for one of my favorite players that y'all give me hell about over the years, Vernon Butler. I mean, if there ever was a life raft situation in the water for someone with a drunken career, this would be it. So I see this as a blessing in disguise for him. And it's up to him if he's going to do something with it. If he does, great. If not, pack your bags, we'll get with you.
Will, what's your take on the situation?
Well, KK is probably a top 5 defensive tackle in this league right now, so I'm not going to downplay how big of a loss this is for the defense. But at the same time, it's about next man up. And I think with this defense, you can't replace a Kawan Short with one guy. There's very few guys in the league that can replace what he does on that defensive line. So we're going to have to replace him by committee. And one thing I think Marty Hurney did a great job of was adding depth to this interior defensive line rotation. So in your 4-3 front, you're going to look at, or your 40 front, you're going to have probably Dontari Poe, Gerald McCoy starting with Vernon Butler and Kyle Love backing them up. And if you want to go to a 3-4, at the ends you'll have Gerald McCoy, Vernon Butler, and behind them, Brian Cox and F.A. Obata with Poe and Kyle Love at the nose tackle. So we still have a deep rotation on the defensive line. Just guys got to step up and make plays. I think with one underrated move was keeping Brian Cox, a guy who had starting experience before on that practice squad. That move alone, just for emergency situations, allow us to keep that rotation going strong. And then now you see how big that Gerald McCoy signing was as well. So, there's a reason why he puts a lot of money on that defensive line and keep it deep so we can keep that rotation going and try to keep that train moving.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Hey, people, sleeping on that, on the depth of that line that Hurney put together, man. That's good stuff, man. That fell into place nicely. Larry, what you think, bro?
It hurts, to be honest with you. Losing KK, he's an all-pro in the Pro Bowl. So I think my biggest knock is really on the staff. Like, I don't know if it's the coaching staff or the news team or whatever, but this is like the second injury where we're really not given the full extent of what the injury is. It's like we're caught off guard every week, and everybody knows the first one was with Cam. So, the first or the second, like week 3 and week 4, we're looking at it as like, listen, KK got a little arm injury. He'll come back. We were prepared to get him back, but then you tell us it's a torn rotator cuff. So I'm a little bit concerned about the way news is being conveyed to us. But I'll focus on football for tonight. I know Kevin is really big on Vernon Butler. He had a strip sack this week, which was an impact play in my regard. But at the same time, I still haven't seen enough to be like, okay, I'm completely comfortable with him. Because at the end of the day, you got a guy like F.A. Obata, who's a natural defensive end. He had more snaps at that DT position than Vernon Butler. But to go ahead and support what everybody is saying, we're still deep. We have a lot of guys to rotate around a lot of positions. And what it's done for us, and Houston is a good example, guys were fresh all game long. Mm-hmm. From the edges to the DTs, everybody was fresh. So you were getting 100% effort out of everybody every snap. And that has a lot to do with why Vernon had an impact play. He gave his all on that play because he was energized. So going forward, I'm not really concerned that we can't get the job done. It just hurts to lose an all-pro. But at the end of the day, I'm very confident in Cox, Obata, Poe, Love, all getting the job done, all contributing to what, Kawan Short gave to us. So I'm not concerned about that going forward. I just wish we would have had him because all he does is add an extra big piece to the puzzle.
Indeed. My question is, now I'm this could be completely stupid on my behalf, but if a player's on IR, are they or are they not allowed on the sideline during the game?
I think he could be on street clothes on the sideline during the game.
Okay. Well, that's good. At least I'll have his presence out there, man. He can keep that. He can keep the guys, on focus somewhat.
Now, Tim, did that question have anything to do with the hoopla about Cam not being on the sideline?
How did you know, Larry? I mean, was Cam not on the sideline? He should be standing out there, too. Gee Willikers. Breeze was doing it. Roethlisberger was out there with his team. Where was Cam? Man, shut the hell up.
He'll be there this Sunday.
What people didn't realize is that, Breeze was at a game, Roethlisberger was at a game, but those are home games.
Oh, tell him again, Larry. I'm sorry. Well, that was what?
Those are home games. Typically, when you have an away game, especially if it's in a different time zone, like the past 2 games that we've had, typically guys that are really hurt, they don't come to those games. So nobody in 4-man rush was surprised that Cam Newton wasn't on the sideline to support Kyle Allen. It has nothing to do with him not wanting to see the backup succeed. It's just NFL protocol.
Exactly. And then why would you want Cam standing on the sideline? I mean, come on. He has a foot injury, people. Anyway. But yeah, KK is going to be missed. But obviously, especially from the last 2 games, we have a nice front rotation going on. where again the next man up comes into play, and if you have a great coaching staff, those guys will be ready to go. I agree with you guys, man. I think we're gonna be all right. And I do hate it for KK, man. This team has a lot of potential, and I just wish he could be a part of it this season. Yeah, these things happen, man. That's the game of football, folks. It is what it is. It is what it is. But we did get a W last week, and let's talk about that, shall we? There were some goods, there's some really good, and there was some really bad, and there's some damn what the hell you doing bad. So we're going to talk about all of that. All right. So Will, go ahead and start us off, man. What did you see, good and bad, from the Houston game?
Well, I mean, we sure like them ugly, don't we? I mean, that's something we know from this squad for a few years now. I mean, I don't know. You look at this game, I mean, missed opportunities again. We could have blown this team off the map, but just self-inflicted mistakes just kept it a tight game throughout the 4 quarters. But Houston's got a good defensive line, and they're going to make plays, so a win is a win. But what I saw on defense, I think Ron did a great job of mixing up his coverages. He neutralized DeAndre Hopkins throughout the game, using just a variety of different coverages, played a little bit of press. I thought the secondary communicated well. The pass rush was getting home. Houston was trying to attack vertically, because of the way the Panthers were playing their coverages. I know they were playing a lot of cover 2, cover 4. So the Texans were running these long developing routes, trying to attack the Panthers downfield. But because of Ron's ability to generate pressure using twists and stunts and mixing up his pass rush and blitzes, they just weren't able to get the ball off. So we were able to get those pressures on Deshaun Watson. If they weren't able to get a hit on him, they had him off balance, making throws, alterous throws. So he wasn't able to be accurate downfield. So I just think it was a good team defensive effort overall. On offense, I love Christian McCaffrey to death, one of my favorite players in the league, but 37 touches is a little iffy for me. I know we're going to lean on him a lot more since Cam Newton is out, but I think, some of those carries at the end of the half when we're just trying to run out the clock, maybe some pass blocking reps, throw a Jordan Scarlett in there or give Arma like 2 or 3 carries. Keep McCaffrey's touches between that 25 to 30 range. I think he was a little overused in this game, but still a monster game from him. And I think we're going to expect to see a lot more of that because we're missing our star quarterback. I think Kyle Allen had another solid performance, but he's got to take care of the ball. Sacks happen. I think, the best teams in the league last year averaged 1 to 2 sacks given up per game. So you can't just cough the ball up every time you get sacked. So I think every sack he's had this year, he's fumbled. So that's just a concern for me right now. We got to be better with ball security. But overall, I'll take the win. I expected an ugly game. We got an ugly game, and we'll have another ugly one this week as well.
What I do like is the mental fortitude of the guys that we have, running these plays. I'll start with Kyle Allen. He had 3 crucial plays. Those sack fumbles don't help at all. 2 of which were actually on him and not actually on the offensive line. So that tells me he has to improve his awareness in the pocket. But what you got to love about Kyle Allen, just to tote his own a little bit, he doesn't break after a mistake. He comes back even harder. If he doesn't have that mental fortitude, we don't win.
That's true.
He had to be able to improve off the last play. So it's like he has a short memory. Make a mistake, forget it, come back even harder. We need that to win games in the National Football League. So more power to him. But I studied the trenches closely this week. What I can tell you is that there's a lot to improve on. There's a lot of mistakes still happening. Greg Little is soft as I don't know what. To come from the SEC, he's pretty soft. But at the same time, he's really, really effective in the pass game, which we already knew.
He is.
In the run game, even though he's not moving guys the way you would want him to do, he's putting his body in the right place so the runs can be effective. So I was really, really satisfied with that. He knew how to get his head in the right place. He knew how to get his butt in the right place. He knew how to open holes. But at the same time, I just want to see him maul a little bit more. I want to see him use a little bit more force. I want to see him use a little bit more impact in the run blocking. A lot of guys have been knocking Paradis. Paradis, for 2.5 quarters was the most solid offensive lineman we had. He was opening gaping holes. You know, he was picking up linebacker blitzes. His awareness is incredible. He has the best awareness out of all 5 guys on the line that we've seen this past week. I think it just comes to him being susceptible to the bull rush. Him not having the right leverage you need when that bull rush comes. He often finds himself getting knocked back into the quarterback, which is a problem because if you look at that first strip sack, everybody thought it was on Greg Little. But Greg Little did his job. He rolled the defensive end around the pocket. But Kyle Allen, you expect to step up in that situation. He had nowhere to step up to because Paradis was getting blocked right back into him. But that's just something small. That's something fixable. The best thing you can take away is that all the issues on the offensive line, they are correctable. So we have a lot to look forward to, a lot of improvements to make. Defensive line, same thing. Honestly, nobody really graded lower than the 75 for me. Nobody got lower than the C, and that was Marquise Haynes. I had a couple of guys scoring the 90s this week. You know, McCoy, Burns, Irvin, Addison. They were extremely effective this week in disrupting Deshaun Watson. I know everybody looks for sacks, but the fact that they were able to move him off his spot, I would say 3 out of every 4 dropbacks, that's a win to me. And that's what it came down to. That's why we got the W. He couldn't drop back and get comfortable for nothing. He couldn't just take a 3 or 5 step drop back, pick out his target and throw it. Every play, some was actually moving him off his spot. That's what we need to win games moving forward. I'll let Will continue to rest, but as far as the trenches go, this team is getting better every week, offensively and defensively.
Actually, we're going to go to Kevin on this, man. Kev, what was your take from the Houston game, bro?
Yeah, my take from the Houston game was pretty much like seeing improvement. Still plenty of work to be done, but I'm seeing more consistency starting to happen, not to the level that's going to get us to the promised land, which is, being at Will's house in Miami, doing a 4-man rush from Super Bowl 54, but we're slowly trending in the right direction. I had to make it known in the Panther groups that the offensive line takes the longest time for that group to gel and get chemistry. We're talking about 5 guys that has to know what the other 4 guys are doing at all times and making split-second decisions once these line calls are made to be able to block effectively, whether it's run or pass. So, with Paradis and Darrell Williams coming back from major leg injuries, I kind of expected it to take a while because they missed over half the training camp practices, particularly the one-on-ones and a lot of the individual drills trying to recover, and they hardly played in the preseason. So I kind of been looking at the first quarter of the regular season, as much as it hurts because it counts, as kind of like quote-unquote preseason conditioning for our team. So now that we're heading into the second quarter, game 5, I'm looking forward to starting to see this offensive line really take it to the next level. So as far as, what I liked about Houston, though, is just the fact that when it clicks, we're effective. We're moving, getting to the second level, making nice combo blocks off and guys sliding to the linebackers. Still can be better, still can take better angles, still can engage the blocks longer, but I just see it slowly trending in the right direction. As far as the defensive line side, y'all was just talking about how we was able to apply pressure to Watson. I dropped some stats that, caught a lot of people's eyes. Deshaun Watson dropped back 33 times to throw the ball. Out of those 33 passes, he was sacked 6 times. 12 more times he was hit, which means, he may have thrown the ball, but he still, felt pads on him right as he was throwing the ball. And then on top of that, another 12 quarterback hurries where he was being chased out of the pocket or out of his spot. So when you add them numbers up, 6, 12, and 12, that's 30. So you telling me out of 33 passes, he was only able to really be comfortable 3 times? That's hellified work by the defensive front altogether. Not just the defensive line, but, linebackers and And I think the safeties got in a couple times as well. So for me, just knowing that high percentage of pass plays were affecting the quarterback, that's a championship formula for success right there. It really makes me think back to the 2007 New York Giants, who wasn't really, big name brand on defense, but that defensive front could literally affect any quarterback a vast majority of the game. So I definitely think we got a lot to look forward to, but we also got a lot to work on as well. But it's trending in the right direction.
Hey, Kev, let me add to your point. We had 10 different guys rush the quarterback, meaning we had out of edges and DTs, we had 10 different guys get snaps where they had the opportunity to rush the quarterback, right? 7 out of those 10 guys scored in the 90s when it came to me grading the film.
Wow.
I'll go down the list for you. Addison had a 90. McCoy had a 93. Butler had a 92. Poe had a 96. Love had a 91. Irvin had a 92. And Burns scored a 90. Miller had an 84. Obata had an 82. Haynes scored the lowest with a 75. We had what we asked for from defensive linemen when it came to this Houston game. They did their job. Now, a lot of people question the run game. We're giving up run yards. It's not so much on that defensive front. It's just the fact that our linebackers are getting used to this scheme where Luke Kuechly's not used to being touched. But now he's at a point where he actually has to beat a block or two here and there. And then our safeties have to come up and make plays. So once guys get comfortable doing that, I think we'll get the run game under control. Guys, to be honest with you, we're going to finish the top 5 defense. It's inevitable. Yeah. If guys keep playing the way they're playing right now, we'll be a top 5 defense by the time January hits.
Yeah, and to add on to that, I was one of the ones that also posted in the groups about, us being 24th, stopping the run, giving up about 130 yards. But when I went back and looked at it, we're really, on these running back carries, we're really containing these running backs about 80% of the time. We're just giving up 2 or 3 big runs at the absolute worst time, and it really inflates the number to make it seem as if they're steadily getting 4, 5, 6 yards on us at a time. It's not even like that. We're constantly, if I'm not mistaken, we're in the top 10 in tackles for losses as well. So we're stopping the run. It's just we just letting 2 or 3 big ones bust loose, and it's really inflating numbers. So as you mentioned, Larry, I think that as we get more fitted to this hybrid scheme and everybody getting their run fits memorized, like I say, I really think that number is going to come on down, because for a Ron Rivera defense, giving up over 100 yards rushing is largely unheard of. If I'm not mistaken, he's been either between 88 to 94, 95 yards pretty much since 2013, once we drafted K1 Short and Starla Tulele. 2011 and 12, we was getting gutted up the middle like a fish. So, but yeah, you're definitely spot on with that. So I look forward to getting that under control. And, plus we've been dealing with mobile quarterbacks as well. So starting week 5, I'm thinking that everything on both sides of the ball is going to start gelling a little bit better. And in spite of injuries at key positions, we're still going to be able to execute.
Yeah, that's true, man.
I'll touch a little bit more. I'll go into a little bit more detail just so they can understand.
Yeah.
There was one big run we gave up. I think either Carlos Hyde or Duke Johnson. It don't even matter who the back was, but they broke off left tackle and Bill Obata, who's been the edge rusher his entire time in Carolina. He got blocked 5 yards off the ball. What that did was leave a gaping hole open for the running to cut through. And that was the difference. It wasn't about Luke. It wasn't about Shaq. It wasn't about nobody else on the field, but one guy trying to get used to a new position. That was F.A. getting blown off the ball 5 yards. And that's a lot to ask. So, we'll improve. I have no doubts in my mind that the run game will improve. Our pass defense is outstanding. Our total defense is outstanding. Panther Nation should not expect anything less than a top 5 defense this year.
Hey, Will, just talk about the receiver core a little bit, man. I know the ball got passed around a little bit, and then we didn't put up a lot of points, but a lot of different players were catching the football, man. What was you seeing from the receiver core?
I think they need to get more involved. Now, I understand the backup quarterback's in there, so they're not going to be putting up the big numbers that we expected heading into the season. But I think we just need them to be bigger threats on the field, see them separate consistently, adjust to the ball better, get some of those 50-50 balls. So, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. It's good to see Hogan getting into the rotation a little bit more. I'd like to see him get more reps, especially with Greg Olsen's foot. I mean, McCaffrey playing 100% of the reps, Olsen playing 100% of the reps on that bad foot. I'd just like to see more of a diversified use of our weapons in that regard. But I think, as long as we got our backup quarterback in the game right now, we're going to ride Christian McCaffrey, and, our offense will go as far as he takes us. I don't think we'll see the full potential of that receiving group until we get the O-line on the same page and get, Cam Newton back up and running again.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, it was nice to see Hogan get some catches, though. We had an Ian Thomas sighting there briefly, didn't we, Kevin, or for a little bit?
Yeah, he was able to work himself on the field and get a few reps. Still, him and Manhurts are getting, what's left over whenever we do go to, 12s and 22 packages where we utilize 2 tight ends. But, a lot of folks realize that, he's coming back from a rib injury, which is one of the reasons he's been brought back slowly. And, anyone that knows how the human body is, them ribs, you got to be real careful playing football, how you ease yourself back into full contact with that. So for those that's been wondering why Ian Thomas hasn't been playing much, he's coming back from some rib injuries that that got re-aggravated in the New England game. For some reason, that New England preseason game just did a lot of damage. Cam's foot, Greg Little's concussion, Ian's ribs. I mean, I like matching up with New England, see where we are, but damn, they keep our head trainer Ron Vermillion at work whenever we finish playing with them guys. It's just seemed like how I fell out to be this year. But Ian Thomas, he's going to get work back in slowly, and I like the way that we're not trying to force him back out there until he's fully healthy, because we already seen what he's capable of doing fully healthy. So stay patient, folks, with Ian Thomas. He's coming back around.
I can't wait, man. He has a lot of upside, man.
Yeah, if I can add one more point, and I'm gonna go to the run game. Christian was stopped he was stopped short in a couple of those runs, and when you don't get 4 yards or more, you look at the offensive line. There were times where the offensive line actually did their job, blocked well, got good push. Mm-hmm. Our tight ends and our receivers and backs didn't do their job, so there was a couple plays where you don't expect this, but Chris Manhurts, he missed some blocks. There was a throw-out. There was a check down to McCaffrey where he made it to the 3-yard line. Probably could have scored, but you're looking at DJ Moore and you're looking at Curtis Samuel. They're standing there watching them. They're not blocking nobody, so he couldn't score a touchdown. Yeah. So instead of putting all of this weight on the offensive line, we got to look at all 11 guys in the field. We need all 11 guys to do their job. So when it comes to open field stuff, I need my receivers, my tight ends, and my backs to block better. They've really been struggling, and that's something that we haven't touched on. But the tight ends and the receivers, they're not blocking the way you would want them to block at this point in the season. So the first quarter, we're through 4 games. That's the first quarter of the season. All the kinks should be knocked out. Guys should be getting comfortable. We need to be a better football team, going forward, weeks 5 through 9. We got to be better. And it's going to start with those receivers. It's going to start with the skill positions. We got to block better on the outside. We got to block better with the backs and receivers. That's something I just wanted to add.
Cool. I mean, that's a very valid point. Seriously. 2015, of course, that's the benchmark to go back to. But we had some receivers on this team that were blocking downfield. Even Philly Brown was blocking downfield, man. So, I mean, and as strong as DJ is, man, he could be a powerful run blocker. He puts his mind to it. So I mean that's legit, man. That's legit. Speaking of which,
hey, real quick, Tim. We're talking about good blockers downfield. Shout out to Brenton Burson, one of the best blockers at wide receiver the Panthers ever had. Just thought I'd throw that in there.
Yeah. I gotta give Goldie his props, man. He would do when he had to. That's for sure. But One thing we are going to have to do is block downfield against these Jaguars coming up on Sunday. That's for sure. I am aching for a freaking home win, dude. Come on, man. We haven't won a home game since what? I mean, God.
Tampa, October 28, 2018. That's the nerd in me.
So we're going on a year since we had a legit fiscal year since we had a home win in Charlotte. That's a daggum shame. And you know what? I think we got the team to pull this off with, man. You know, Jacksonville got that Fournette guy that everybody wanted us to draft. Lord have mercy. Did he even finish the season last year?
He didn't.
Nah, I didn't think so. Yeah. Interesting. People talking about Christian McCaffrey. No, not coming at you, Will, but people talking about Christian McCaffrey, you know, need to take some time off, you know, get some people in there and give him some rest and things of that nature. But he hasn't missed a game yet. Fournette's banged up like every other game, it seems like. But that's just it. Anyway, so Jaguars, Panthers, Sunday, 1:00 game. Yeah, we're gonna get this done. Let's go on a 3-game win streak and go.
Yes, sir.
Go into it right, man. So what do we need to win this game, fellas? Will, let's start with you, homie.
Yeah, you know, I think it's going to be a repeat of this past week. It's going to be a physical, grinded out, ugly game. So I just think it's critical that we limit mistakes. Jacksonville's offense isn't nothing fancy. You know, I just looking up some numbers before we started the podcast. They're probably top 5 teams in the league that run that 12 personnel with 2 tight ends. You know, they run a lot of 21 personnel as well. So 40% of the time they're running 12 or 21 personnel with 2 tight ends or 2 backs. So that just tells me they're going to just try to line it up and ram it down our throats and lean on Leonard Fournette. So it'll be a good test for our run defense. Gardner Minshew is a guy that's been getting a lot of hype. You know, he looks like Uncle Rico or Napoleon Dynamite. You know, has that little pregame routine with his jock strap in the locker room. So I guess social media loves him and you know, made him go viral. So, but I don't know, his performance is backing up all the festivities we want to call them that. So this is somebody we got to look out for as well. We got some decent receivers as well, you know, D.D. Westbrook. But I think it's just going to come down to slowing down Fournette and making them one-dimensional. So maybe we see more of that base 3-4 that we haven't seen yet this year, you know, to defend those 2 tight end sets like Ron was talking about in his interview the other day. And we'll see some base 4-3. So Jermaine Carter might be seeing more reps as opposed to a Ross Cockrell this week. On defense, I mean, this is probably the most complete defense that we will see on our schedule, in my opinion. Defensive line, you got Calais Campbell, who's an elite player. You got Marcel Darius, who, I mean, he never really lived up to that top 5 draft status, but he's still a force to be reckoned with on that D-line. Yep. You know, they got good edge rushers. You know, I don't know if Jalen Ramsey will play or not. I don't know what's going on with him. Last I heard, you know, Philly was trying to make a trade for him. So I want him to play because I just think we haven't gotten to play against them yet. And I want to play them at their best. But I mean, still got A.J. Bouye, who's another top-tier corner. I mean, it's just a complete defense. I mean, just, a year before last, they were in the NFC Championship, you know, a few plays away from playing in the Super Bowl after losing to the Patriots. So, you know, it's going to be a solid team. I think the good news for us is they play our style of ball, and I can't see them coming into our house and beating us at our own game. So I think it'll be a tough physical battle, and I think it's just going to come down to the trenches. Can our offensive line, you know, control the line of scrimmage, establish a running game? And, you know, on defense, I mean, hey, you know, it's hat on hat. You got to, you know, maybe play more single high safety looks, bring that extra safety in the box and have that extra guy to contain Leonard Fournette in that run game. You know, and Fournette's a guy that'll just chop until he finally breaks one through. You know, he'll get a bunch of 2-3 yard gains. You think you got him bottled up, but he just has that top end speed. He could bust one for 80, 90 yards. So you just got to always be aware of that. So I'm looking forward to it. I think, you know, I'm looking forward to it. I think this is the type of game that Ron Rivera likes, and I could see another low-scoring defensive slugfest.
You're here, man. You're here. Kevin.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this one. When you think back to the 2017 draft, and the need for running back was definitely intimate as the Jonathan Stewart era was in its twilight days. There was a lot of talk and rumors going around that the Panthers wanted Leonard Fournette. Me personally, I never was on that train. Not that I didn't think he was a talented player, but we needed a new versatility that we never had before at running back that Chris McCaffrey provides. So when the Jaguars took him at the 4th pick in the 2017 draft, me personally, that was the best pick for us, not made by us, if you catch what I'm saying. So, since he's been in the league, Fournette, someone that's almost spent as much time in the training room as he has on the field, which is something that started happening to him when he was in college. He's one of them guys that, he can be hell when he's well, but hell, when is he well? It's just kind of one of them things with Fournette. So, and I would think that, that would make a nice matchup, Fournette versus McCaffrey, to see which franchise make the right pick with the right running back. But, this is simply about X's and O's. It's about, grabbing your testicles and seeing who's got the biggest pair this coming Sunday. As, Will pointed out, they like to line up in, 2 tight end sets, either with 1 running back or 2, and, just try to cram it down our throats. Fournette, for those that weren't paying attention, he racked up, I think, almost like 275 yards against Denver last Sunday. To go up to the mile high and run like that, even though Denver is struggling, Denver historically over the last several years has had a strong defense. Mm-hmm. So as was stated, we can't get comfortable with early stops. We got to keep, hitting that big old guy and keep chopping wood on him, because he's capable of breaking one loose at any given time. Now, once he get an open field, it's pretty much a wrap. So I expect to see a lot of 4-3 fronts myself. Particularly, I trust Eric Reed more in the box than I do Trey Boston. I'm just gonna keep it real. Trey Boston still, his tackling angles are still something that's kind of keeping me up at night when I think about him being the last line of defense. So if we're gonna put 8 in the box, I much more like to see Eric Reed being that 8th defender in a 4-3 set. Whenever Jacksonville comes out in their personnel of 2 tight ends, whether it's 12 personnel or whether it's 21, which is something they have a lot of success with. So that's where I see the matchup being won at.
And Larry, what's your take on the situation?
Well, I don't see a dogfight, to be honest with you. I see a blowout.
Oh.
Yeah, I see a blowout with a win for the Panthers. Reason being is, like Will pointed out, they play the same style of football as us. I'll be damned if somebody come in my house and beat me at my own game. That's just how I look at it. This game is going to come down to physicality. We got to be more physical than them, and it's just that simple. It's not even about X's and O's to me. It's about who going to punch you in the mouth. And I think that we have the personnel, we have the talent, we have the strength to punch them in the mouth more than they can do us. So, yeah, we're going to put 8 in the box. We're going to have a single high safety. I don't care if it's Trey Boston or Eric Reed in that box. Both of them are capable of bringing that heat. Both of them are capable of bringing that hit. Trey Boston is actually a lot better in close spaces than he is in the open field. So, yeah, he does take bad angles, but that's usually in the open field. You put that man in the box and tell him to attack the B-gap, he going to hit that hole hard, and he going to knock somebody out. So, this is going to be about physicality. This is going to be about our front being better than their front. This is going to be about our offensive line being better than their defensive line. I'm very concerned about Calais Campbell. I'm very concerned about Marcel Darius. But it's going to be a collective effort. Another guy that we need to watch out for is Josh Allen. That's their young rookie edge rusher. We have a Brian Burns, but Josh Allen was drafted a lot higher than him. So apparently he's supposed to have a better skill set.
I don't see it.
So this should be a statement game, man. I'm not here for the ugly game. It's going to be a back and forth game. No, we're at home. We're in Charlotte. We have the more physical team. We have the more talented team. Let's go out and prove it. We got away with a win in Houston. It's hard to win on the road. But right now we at home with a better roster. We should blow this team out. That's just how I look at it.
Yeah, in all fairness, the 2 home games that we did play, we had an injured quarterback trying to get the job done, especially the second game on a short week. Yeah. Now we have somebody who, well, I believe Kyle Allen's going to learn from his mistakes, and he's not going to have 3 fumbles, from pass rushers. He still has to throw an interception.
31-7 Carolina, man.
Wow, 31-7. Interesting. What's the word on Trey, man? Is he gonna be playing this game?
Well, tomorrow's the first day of practice for the week. Since they have Victory Monday off and Tuesday their regular day off, we'll see what's up with him on this coming week. But yeah, he definitely would be an addition because from what me and Larry saw watching Darrell Williams play right guard, Trey Turner, we want you to come back healthy, but I hope that's much sooner than much later, bro. It's just one of those things.
Yeah, I'm about done with Darrell, bro. He getting on my nerves, bro. For real. You put him at the left tackle, he's not holding his weight. You put him at right guard, he's not holding his weight. I mean, what are we supposed to do, bro?
I gotta when you go watch the film, Darrell played pretty good at right guard. It was just a couple of plays. This is the thing about Darrell. The plays that he does take off, the plays that he's not effective, the difference between a 4-yard gain and a touchdown. He either gets abused or he does his job. There's no in between with him. And that's what our problem is. There's a lack of consistency. So I'm confident because Darrell, on my grade, Darrell scored an 83, which ain't bad. So he did his job at right guard on Sunday. But Trey Turner last week scored a 99. We're missing our all-pro right guard, so we need our all-pro right guard back in the game. So we really, really, really support the right guard position. I just don't want to see him at left tackle, and I'm just hoping that Little can improve week in and week out.
I agree. I mean, he's done pretty decent for him to be a rookie so far, man. I got respect for Little, but. Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about Kyle Allen. Like I said, he's going to learn from his mistakes. He seems to be a smooth operator in that regard. But 31 points, boy, it'd be nice. That house will be rocking when we drop 31 on the Jaguars. I tell you that right now. That house is going to be rocking.
Yes, sir. We'll have, you'll fill us in with some Salem, Tim. You'll feel the shake.
That'd be fine with me.
Hey, but real quick, let me ask Will. You talked about the Jaguars defense. I know you talked about the defense line and corners. Anything that we need to be concerned or aware of as far as like safety play, how the safeties play, and anything about their linebackers? Because I haven't had a chance to really get a good look at them yet. That's what something I wanted to know if you had a chance to take a look at.
Well, the safeties are probably the weakest link on the defense. They got Ronnie Harrison, who was a draft pick, another guy a lot of Panthers fans wanted from last year's draft. I mean, he's pretty solid, but I think he's been struggling with some injuries this year. Miles Jack is a linebacker, I think is a very good football player. So, I mean, they still got talent on all 3 levels, that we're going to have to see coming this week. So, I mean, it's a complete defense. I mean, we know the Jaguars. You think Jacksonville Jaguars since 2017, 2018, it's ugly. I think their quarterback, Blake Bortles, was trash and was holding them back for all these years. So, but their defense was always something that they could lean on and depend on. So, it's going to be a smash mouth game. I think, we got to be able to establish the run, even though they got that front 7. We got to be able to dominate up front, establish the run, make it easy on Kyle Allen and make plays. So, I mean, hey, let's get it started,
You ain't lying, man. If we can blow the top off, because I've seen, man, I know you guys seen it too. Curtis Samuels held the jam on the line, bro. That dude, his release is nasty. He did one. I can't remember if that was Arizona or if that was just past Sunday. He put a move on somebody on the line, dude. They were just lost. So, and I see what you're saying, Larry. If we can buy Kyle Allen some time and he could drop one of those 30, 40, 50-yard bombs, we might put up a lot of points on these guys if their safeties are the weakest link to the defense. We just got to buy him some time because Kirk going to get open, bro. His releases. Woo! Good Lord of mercy.
Oh, I was saying with Jalen Ramsey, I think, what I want to see, one thing they do is they have him shadow your best receiver. So the question is Jalen Ramsey going to come in and shadow DJ, or is he going to shadow Curtis? And that's going to kind of let us know who does Jacksonville think our biggest threat at that position is. And then you got A.J. Bouye on the other side as well. So it'll be a good matchup, too, with their corners against our receiver. That's another reason I want Jalen Ramsey to play. I just want to take their best shot and see, their best players on the field, so there's no excuses after the game.
Right. Get that test. Let's see what Kurt, if Kurt's really on that level or not yet. Go ahead.
So what about Olsen? You think he can take advantage of their linebackers and safeties, Will?
Well, when I watched that Patriot game, I know it's a couple years ago in the playoffs, they had a lot of success with those short underneath routes, attacking the linebackers in coverage. So, yeah, I think McCaffrey coming out of the backfield, catching balls, Greg Olsen, having mismatches with safeties and linebackers is another way. It's probably the best way to attack this defense, because it's really hard to get, big plays against those two corners, especially if Ramsey's going to end up playing. So I could see that being a big part of the game. They got a good defensive line. They got good cornerbacks. But, if you can get those matchups with McCaffrey against linebackers, Olsen against safeties, that's probably the most effective way to attack them.
Well, we definitely got the weapons for that. I mean, they're gonna sleep on McCaffrey coming out the backfield. They're gonna have to make a choice, man. Either you're gonna hold down the center of that field 10 yards and deeper, or you're gonna have somebody shadowing McCaffrey coming out the backfield. You can't do both. You're gonna have to give up something. And you give Kyle Allen some time, he's gonna put the ball where it needs to be. We're gonna be a problem. But we've got to give him some time to throw the ball. Got to. That's the only thing that worries me.
We are a way better team than Jacksonville. We better not play to their level. I'm gonna have a problem. I'm gonna have a problem. That's just where I'm at with it. It's a home game. They play our style of football in our house. This should not be a dogfight. We should blow them out of the water. That's just how I look at it. I'm sorry.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, if we do play to our potential, I don't see why. I mean, this past Sunday was the lowest point total we had this season so far. Before that, we put up 30 plus and 20 plus twice before that. So we got the potential to do it.
Man, we just gotta win, man.
At the coin toss,
stuff happens. Stuff happens.
Stuff
turnovers happen.
Will,
we just gotta win, man.
I respect that too. Will.
We win and go home. Give me my 3 wins, man. Give me my 3. Give me 3 and 2. I don't care how it is. I don't care how it does. I don't care. 45-7.
I don't either. Give me the W2.
Give me. If it's 16,
I'm going to take the W.
21, 17.
12-3. Give me 12-3. I don't care.
Man. I want 3 and 2. I don't care how it's done. Shoot, we need 10 or 11 of these, man.
We can win 3 to 2.
11 of these,
we
man.
Can win 3 to 2. Fuck it.
Like Kyle Allen kept fumbling. There was no doubt in my mind that whole game we was getting that W.
You're right, though.
I was like, look, this is how we win. This is how we win. We got to go through adversity, because come playoff time, we're going to have to go through that adversity. We know everything's not going to be, pretty and perfectly executed. We got to win games. We got to just find ways to win multiple ways. And so far, we've shown we can score 38 against a team like the Cardinals. We can win a low-scoring 16-10 matchup. We can play, close games with the Rams. We just got to be able to win games in multiple ways, not let mistakes get down on us and overcome adversity. And, that's just all I care about is a W, man. I don't care how we got to get them.
Just get them, bro. That's real.
Yeah, and another thing about this game is the fact that, when we played them back in 2015, this is when Luke Kuechly got his first concussion, if I'm not mistaken. And A.J. Klein, took over for a few games until Luke came back. So this game has definitely some undertone and some meetings. Me personally, my father's side of the family lives in Jacksonville, Duval County. They like saying Duval. Hey, I don't want to hear none of that. You know, I got my aunt, my uncle that live in Jacksonville. My two cousins, you know, they sons, they from Jacksonville. One's in New York right now. The other lives in Atlanta. You know, so you know they kind of feeling themselves at that 2017 season. So for me, you know, it's the Avery family is split right now. You know, the Panther side and the Jaguars side this week. So you know, I ain't talking to none of them till you know after the game on Sunday. So you know, hopefully I'm calling that Sweet Caroline is playing through the loudspeakers at Bank of America Stadium.
Man.
Yeah, man, just get that third win, man. Just go 3-2. That's all I care about. I don't care about week 4, 5, 6. Oh, it is week 5, right? I don't care about week 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of the playoffs, bro. We just got to get to 3-2. I'm not even looking past the first series on Sunday, bro. Just take them one at a time. Let's get a third win, and we'll worry about the next one when it comes.
Mm-hmm. That's real, bro. That's real. Hey, big props to my man Sly, man. That dude he kicking everything, bro. I like that kid, man. I like it, man. He's another cool, calm, collected dude we got on this team right now, man. I like that. I like that. No Diesel self. He look like he'll put an elephant in the chokehold. That dude, he can kick it, man. I like that dude, man. I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, he's definitely a solid guy. I mean, so far, you know, only had one miss. He's hit all his extra points. And, you know, when he's kicking from, I don't know if y'all noticing, when he's kicking from 50 yards and over, like, there's plenty of leftovers on them kicks, too. It ain't like he just barely squeaking it through, man. I mean, them things is like hitting net, you know, from 50 yards. So, I mean, you know, hey, you know, if we need another Ganoish like kick against like we had needed against the Giants, hey, I'm confident in Sly, but I mean, you know, like they say, he got foot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That, you know, he kicking from Blacksburg where he went to school at Virginia Tech straight down to Charlotte like it's nothing.
Yeah,
so, hey, you know, Sly's no lie.
They say he hit a 70-yarder in practice, and I don't want to see that on game day, but just show you the kind of leg he got. You know, hopefully we won't got to use him on anything for extra points, but push come to shove, and we need those. You know, at least we can rely on somebody.
Amen, bro. Amen. Hey, if you got to get it done, man. I would hope we can move the football better than that, but you know, get it done, man. Get it done, dude. It seemed like we lost Larry, but you know, I guess he had to say he seemed pretty hyped about this game, man. I like that, man. You know, you get the 2-game winning streak in you, bro. You kind of get your feels in it, man. You're like, yeah, here we go. Okay, let's go. So I dig that, man. I dig that. And
the weather's supposed to be perfect at Bank of America Stadium too. So for all you Panther fans that's listening to Full Man Rush, go ahead and jump on these tickets. Last I checked, they were still pretty affordable, pretty reasonable. Yeah. I mean, after all, hey, let's not forget, fellas, this is the Hall of Honor game. This is the game where Jake DeLone, Steve Smith, Wesley Walls, and Jordan Gross is going into the Hall. So, hey, man, if we don't pack it for any other game, we need to be out here for this game. So anyone that's listening, check out Ticketmaster.com, TitPick.com. And, hey, man, let's pack the stadium for this game, man. These 4 men deserve to have all the love that Panther Nation can give them, you know?
True that, man.
Well, if Smitty going to be there, hopefully that light a fire under DJ and Curtis. Remember on that Thursday night game against the Bucks, they asked Smitty about the Panthers' skill players. He was like, you got Greg Olsen, you got McCaffrey, and you just got some other guys who hopefully will be good one day. So, you know, let's see what they got. Let's see how they respond to that.
You love talking smack to those dudes, man. Remember he's talking about fantasy football.
Oh, that was too funny. Like, should I start him? Like, should I start you?
So you don't get my points, I'm going to smack shit at you.
Yo, I'm looking at the weather right now. It's supposed to be 79 degrees Sunday. Oh, man, perfect weather. Come on, man. We got to pack the stadium. 79 degrees, like we still getting 90s in October because it's going to be like 90s the rest of the week. Because the weekend it's going to drop to the 70s. So, hey, y'all, let's pack the stadium.
Pack it up, fellas. Ladies.
Yeah, them empty seats is a bad look on watching it on TV.
It really is,
definitely
man.
Do that.
For real, it really is. Sit on them blue seats, man. Like, what the hell, man? Damn.
Timmy Vio, come on down, man. Grab one of them seats beside me, man. Let's make it a 4-man rush extravaganza.
Man, I wish, bro. I wish, man. I wish. I ain't got the flexibility like I did a couple years ago, man. But I'm gonna make it down there one of these days, bro. I got to. I didn't go to any games last year. That was the first time ever. So,
You know, the Panthers are 1-0 when Kevin Avery and Timmy Johnson are at a game together. I'm just saying, bro. You know, it's on the way if it don't work.
2-0. Shit.
My bad. Yeah, 2. See? Hey, man, you the key to success, man. Come on, bro.
Man.
Work with us.
Shit, if that was the case, brother, I'll move to Charlotte. You'd be like, hey, Tepper, what's up, bro? How you doing? Bro, Larry,
hey,
we're supposed to blow
Will
everybody at the water.
Man. Will said it could be 3-2, a field goal versus safety. As long as he get us to 3-2, he don't care.
I'm with that. That's what I was trying to say. I'm with that, too. That's all I'm saying. We at home. We ain't won at home. We should come out nasty and dominate in the trenches. That's all.
Hey, and with this being the third, with this being the third home game, I don't know if y'all remember we started this trend last year. You know, during the introductions, we're going to introduce the special team players. And y'all remember we did that last year against the Giants, and special teams in all phases played a big part. So, you know, when we preview this game, let's not leave out special teams. You know, it could be something that leads to another impact on this game. And, you know, we always talk about offense and defense, but, hey, that third phase, you know, because that third phase saved us in Houston as well, if you ask me.
Speaking of that, look at Brian Burns on special teams altering punts.
Man.
Had a block punt earlier, altered one the last week, which is good to see him stepping up in that area.
True that, man. I mean, how many punts has he either altered, blocked, or it's like one each game, right? Almost. Well, no, not each game, but
blocked one early. He blocked one against the was it the Rams or the Bucks?
I want to say
because that got us back in. I think it was the Rams because it got us back in the game.
Yeah, that was the Rams.
Then he altered one against the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I thought that was Carter that blocked it, Jermaine Carter, and we got on him for flexing before securing the ball.
Right. Yeah, Burns.
Yeah,
I think.
right.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know Burns has altered some. Though.
Yeah, it might have been a Tampa game, bro. Either Tampa or Arizona. But yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm thinking that was the Rams game that Jermaine Carter got that block. Yeah, because it was daylight, because he was glistening in the sun, flexing while we still trying to recover the ball.
Yeah.
So yeah,
like, bro, get the ball, bro. What the hell you doing? But yeah, that was something, man. Special teams has come through this year, man. I'm liking it.
Hey, fellas, as we I'm sorry, time because as wrapped up, anybody want to speak on speculation of Cam, or we just gonna let that play out and discuss it when it's more relevant?
Yeah, they
coming back.
They already said he's not gonna be back to week 8. So I mean,
I don't think there's anything new updated since last week. I think we all kind of knew he was gonna come back after the bye.
Yeah, I just hope he's really healthy, not this 90%, 85% crap.
Yeah, let's just keep. It's Sunday, bro. We'll address that when we get there. It's all about Sunday.
That's right.
Nothing after Sunday.
Jags.
The only thing that matters right now.
Jags Panthers. I don't care if it's 1-0. I want that W. So, I think we covered everything, fellas. Just wait till Sunday, folks. Just wait till Sunday. I mean, there's not much to say about that. But I have to reiterate what Kevin said. If you are listening to this podcast and you haven't got your tickets yet, what the hell are you waiting on? Get your tickets. Go to the game. If you can't get your tickets, watch the game. But go to the game. It's supposed to be nice. Grab a burger or something. Give Sir Purr a high five. Something. Get your ass to the game. Quit playing games. Shoot. So, thanks again for listening to another podcast of the 4-Man Rush. If you haven't gone to our website, which is www.the4manrush.com, get over there and check it out. We have some wonderful articles, some great videos, great breakdowns, everything you need from Panther Nation news. And you can catch it at the4manrush.com. It's a lot different from other platforms. You go there, you'll see it for yourself. Also, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Of course, if you listen to this podcast on Podbean, thank you. If not, we're on Spotify and also on iTunes. And hey, just keep following us, guys. If you're not entertained by this, let us know and we'll work on it. Otherwise, thanks for dropping by.
Hey, Tim.
Yeah.
Before you wrap it up, I just looked it up real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Tickets for the game are starting at $49 on Ticketmaster. If y'all don't get y'all asses to this game and pack the house, it's I'm looking at section 539, row 21, $49 each starting price for this game. Y'all get on down here and pack the house, man, for real.
Quit playing games, y'all. Dang. Carpool if you got to. Shoot. Something. Dang. You better catch, what is that, the light rail they got down there now?
Yeah, the blue links. Yes, sir.
Yeah, shoot. You can park at UNC Charlotte and catch a light rail. Quit playing games. Get your ass to the damn game. Hey, thanks for checking us out in the 4-Man Rush, y'all. Whether you're listening to this podcast in the morning, afternoon, or night, have a wonderful day, wonderful evening. Keep your spirits high. Keep following us on all these platforms. And as always, keep pounding, playing games. Get your ass to the game. Keep pounding.
That's going to be a fun editing job on that one.
Boy.
Hey, you might have dropped this on Friday, Tim.
Boy.
I'm just taking time to really let it breathe. So baby, just chill. Yeah. She love it. We out in public and we can just chill with my partners, and we can go back to my crib and just chill out the covers and do we call me and you levels.
The 4-Man Rush is brought to you by the love and respect of and for the Carolina Panthers and Carolina Panther fans everywhere. Keep pounding. The 4-Man Rush is a non-affiliate of the Carolina Panther organization. All thoughts, assessments, and content of this podcast is directly related to the 4-Man Rush exclusively. Thank you.